The City Council is the sole legislative body of the City of Framingham and is therefore responsible for passing city ordinances. The City Council is made up of 11 members who exercise the legislative powers of Framingham. 2 of these members are known as councilors at large and 9 members are known as district councilors. The City Council serves as a link between the citizens of Framingham and their municipal government. Councilors help constituents by connecting them to resources, services, and city departments, and also serve as advocates for all Framingham residents. The following City Council coverage is brought to you by the Government Channel, a service of the City of Framingham.
Welcome to the City Council meeting for May 5th, 2026. We will be using version 3 of the agenda posted in the public meeting portal and published to iLegislate on Monday, 5/4. Tonight, I anticipate Councilors Bryant and Long will be remote. Everyone else will be here, and I believe Councilor Ward may be absent this evening. So we have minutes for March 31st and April 7th?
Both.
Yes, thank you.
All at once.
Yes. Okay, so it's moved and seconded. All those in favor, we'll start with Mr. Vianney.
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Mr. Cannon?
Yes.
Mr. Name Bruno?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Mr.
Yes.
Stephanie?
Yes. Yes.
Ms. Long?
Yes.
Ms. Bryant?
Yes.
Great, thank you. Next, we have 3 proclamations this evening. The first is a joint proclamation with the mayor recognizing May 17, 2026 is World Neurofibromatosis Awareness Day. This proclamation was requested by the Chun Sawyer family back in February. And can someone read it?
I will read it.
You'll have it? Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
World Neurofibromatosis Awareness Day, May 17, 2026. Whereas the Children's Tumor Foundation, CTF, is observed May 17, 2026 as World NF. NF stands for Neurofibromatosis Awareness Day to educate the public about this rare genetic condition. Whereas NF, which refers to all types of neurofibromatosis and schwannomatosis, affects over 4 million people worldwide, with 1 in every 2,000 births diagnosed with the condition. Whereas, despite its prevalence, NF remains under-recognized, underscoring the urgent need for greater awareness and understanding. Whereas NF affects all populations equally regardless of race, ethnicity, or gender. Whereas NF causes tumors to grow on the nerves throughout the body and can also affect the brain, cardiovascular system, bones, and skin. Whereas the condition can lead to blindness, deafness, bone abnormalities, disfigurement, learning disabilities, disabling pain, and cancer. Whereas the Children's Tumor Foundation drives life-saving therapies for NF patients by investing in groundbreaking research, fostering collaboration across the fields, and accelerating drug discoveries to deliver meaningful results for millions affected by neurofibromatosis and schwannomatosis. And whereas the Children's Tumor Foundation is a laser focused on getting treatment for NF patients faster by investing in groundbreaking research, driving collaborative science, and de-risking drug development. Whereas the Children's Tumor Foundation provides vital patients and family support through information, education, and advocacy resources. Whereas greater awareness of NF is essential to advancing early diagnosis, improving treatment of options, and support research. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed, we, the Mayor and Council of Framingham, do hereby proclaim May 17, 2026 as Neurofibromatosis NF Awareness Day in the City of Framingham.
Thank you. Okay, we have 2 other proclamations tonight. The second is a joint proclamation of the mayor recognizing May 17th as Diffuse Intrinsic Pontine Glioma, DIPG Awareness Day. And the mayor will read this proclamation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. DIPG Awareness Day, May 17th, 2026. Whereas diffuse intrinsic pontine glioma, DIPG, is a rare, aggressive, and inoperable pediatric brain cancer that primarily affects children between the ages of 5 and 10 And whereas DIPG is the second most common malignant brain tumor in children and the leading cause of death from pediatric brain tumors, with a median survival of approximately 9 months and a 5-year survival rate of less than 1%. And whereas approximately 200 to 400 children in the United States are diagnosed with DIPG each year, devastating families and communities, while highlighting the urgent need for increased research, funding, and treatment options. And whereas DIPG Awareness Day has been observed annually for a decade on May 17th since 2016 to raise awareness and support affected families. And whereas the city of Framingham remembers with deep respect and love the life of Devon Swale, who courageously battled DIPG and passed away on October 20th, 2017, days shy of his 7th birthday, leaving a lasting legacy of strength, compassion, and community spirit. And whereas Devon's mother, Christine Souder, has demonstrated extraordinary courage and leadership in the face of unimaginable loss, becoming a tireless advocate for children and families impacted by DIPG, and helping to elevate awareness and inspire action both locally and beyond. And whereas the Not Devon Foundation continues to honor Devon's memory by raising national and international awareness, supporting research efforts, and encouraging acts of kindness, service, and hope within the community. And whereas Devon's legacy reminds us each day to face challenges with courage, to support one another, and to seek opportunities, both big and small, to make a difference in the lives of others. Now, therefore, the mayor and the city council of the city of Framingham do hereby proclaim May 17th, 2026 as DIPG Awareness Day in the city of Framingham, and urge all residents to join in raising awareness, supporting families, and advocating for research to find a cure for DIPG. And this is signed by every member of the city council and the mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I invite Christine Souder, or Devon's mother, to come up. I didn't see you back there. I'm sorry at the beginning. And received the proclamation from the mayor.
I just wanted to say thank you very much to our mayor and to our city and to our entire community. It has been almost 9 years, and Devon's spirit is so very much alive in this community and in our city. And we are so eternally grateful to all of you and to all of our community for keeping his memory alive and helping us help and impact so many other families who have been affected by DIPG. We, last year, gave over $100,000 to families through grants, and we also help fund a nurse navigation program that every family, when they're diagnosed, their child is diagnosed, they're contacted or have the opportunity to be contacted within 48 hours to help them really navigate the very uncharted and unimaginable world of DIPG. So I just am so grateful to all of you to continue to make this important and to help us keep Devon's spirit alive and to help so many other families. So we could not do that without every single person here in this community, in this room, and thank you. I am grateful.
Thank you very much. Next, we have a proclamation declaring May as Bike Month in the city of Framingham, and that would be brought forth by Councilor Feeney.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. Whereas throughout the month of May, the city of Framingham will celebrate biking and the freedom, the joy, and the well-being it brings to our residents, as well as the power that more people riding bikes has in making life better for everyone. And whereas Framingham has a proud cycling heritage. In the 1890s, Framingham had more cyclists per capita than almost any other city or town in Massachusetts, was home to the Framingham Cycling Club and the Wayside Park bicycle racing track, and today continues that tradition as a community committed to expanding access to safe, connected, and joyful cycling for all. And whereas Framingham is the future southern part of the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail, a planned 25-mile multi-use pathway connecting Framingham to Lowell, and is working to become a stop on the East Coast Greenway, the 3,000-mile bicycle and pedestrian route linking Maine to Florida, cementing Framingham's role as a regional hub for active transportation. And whereas throughout the month of May, the residents of Framingham and its visitors will experience the benefits of bicycling through group rides, races, events, educational programs, and by the simple act of going somewhere by bike. And whereas bicycling has been shown to improve citizens' health, well-being, and quality of life, while growing the local economy, attracting tourism dollars and local business spending, and reducing pollution, congestion, and parking demand on our streets and roads. And whereas the Framingham Bicycle Pedestrian Trails Committee, along with the Friends of Framingham Trails and Mass Bike, are organizing local rides and events promoting bicycling during the month of May. And whereas these groups are also promoting the use of bicycles as both a means of transportation and recreation year-round, to attract more visitors, to enjoy Framingham's local parks, trail system, restaurants, retail establishments, and cultural and scenic attractions. And whereas these groups are promoting greater public awareness of bicycle safety and operation during Bike Month and year-round in an effort to reduce collisions, injuries, and fatalities, and improve the safety for all road users. And now, therefore, the Mayor and the Council of the City of Framingham do hereby proclaim May 2026 as Framingham Bike Month in the City of Framingham and invite all residents to get outside, explore their city, and ride a bike. Signed by the Mayor and everybody on the Council. And I believe there's someone here from the Bicycle and Pedestrian Committee as well.
Our first event is this weekend on Saturday down at Cushing.
Thank you. You want?
Real quick, yeah. Thank you, Councilor King. Just, I know we don't read all these, but just to let you folks know, the Rotary this year gave out 6, 7, 8, it's 10 or 11 scholarships. There were 6 from Keefe, 2 from Framingham High, and the rest were from the Hopkins High School, so we did citations, myself and the mayor. We're going to attend the luncheon, but just something nice from the city council celebrating. You know, these kids, nobody realizes, but the Rotary does really good work. These kids all get scholarships anywhere from $5,000 to $6,000. It's a big number, and we do it every single year, so it's just nice. There's a lot of Framingham families, and we also did 2 for the Ashland families because they go to Keefe, which is in Framingham, so we got them citations too, so thank you.
Thank you. Just an announcement, if anyone is driving a Toyota RAV4 5 FHB82, if you could move your car, it's blocking someone in. Appreciate it. Okay, public participation. Donna Kilcoyne, officer.
Hi, Donna Kilcoyne-North for District 1. I'm here to actually try to give voice to a group that really hasn't had a voice in the budget process, and I would say that's the elderly people. We've heard a lot about the school budget and kids, and all of that's important, but I think we really need to think about some of our seniors who live in Framingham and what a 4.5% increase in their taxes will do for some of them. We have 21% of our population is under the age of 19. We have 22% that's over the age of 60. And we also have pretty much the same amount of poverty in both groups, 9% in the under 18 and 10% in the 65 and older. And I think we really need to take a look at what happens to these people on a fixed income who are in their homes, they're barely hanging on. Statistics have shown across the United States that there are 2 million more seniors who are now below the poverty line. They've had to deal with increases in healthcare costs, housing costs, energy costs, just like everybody else. But they're doing it on a fixed income, maybe an income that they planned 10, 15 years ago that's just not satisfactory now. I think that we need to also understand that they have limitations with mobility, getting to places, getting checked into what services are available to them. I know I've said this story before, but my neighbor next door, it was an elderly couple. They really didn't have anybody, and they were not paying their taxes, and the city took over their home and sold it at auction. Unfortunately, they didn't have anybody watching out for them. They probably didn't even know that there are tax relief programs within Framingham that could have potentially helped them. So I'm asking, when you have a plan for the taxes, I would like to know what the plan is for the reach out for the people who are on the margin, people who are already behind in their taxes. And when you have the budget talk in the subcommittee, I'm going to ask you to make sure you get those numbers from Mr. DeCino and from the mayor and from the new CFO. I'm sorry, I don't know your name, but welcome. But I think we need to know what those numbers are. I think we need to have reach out to those groups of people so they know what's available to them. And so we don't have people that lose their homes unnecessarily because of a tax burden. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Anyone else in the room that did not sign up? Okay, next we go to Zoom. Herb Chasen. You have 3 minutes, Mr. Chasen. Going once, Mr. Chasen?
Hang on, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I have something to say about the budget, the 2027 mayor's budget.
That's, Mr. Chasen, that's on the agenda, so you have to wait till that item comes up on the agenda, okay?
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Next is Mr. Bloomfield.
Mr. Chairman, can you hear me?
Yes, Mr. Bloomfield, but are you going to speak about the budget?
No, I'm not speaking about the budget per se, just some generalities. And I want to start off by thanking Donna. That was very good of her to present that information to the City Council. You need to understand it and deal with it. Our financial problem has come into clearer focus. You, each of you, must speak now as to your thoughts, concerns, and likely vote ahead. You must be able to break issues down into segments, defining areas, costs, revenue, now and out to FY31. That's right, FY31. Each and every resident, families, homeowners, and apartment dwellers, both old and young, will be impacted. Every city employee now and by way of future collective bargaining agreements with less city revenue will perhaps see less generous pay increases. The sequence you must put residents' affordability first and foremost. Right now, you have feelings, hunches. You think we will get by. I only wish. Hunches will not suffice. We need a true city executive up on Beacon Hill in the corner office, not a governor routinely prioritizing national office over the economic survival of Massachusetts. Our condition is worse than you can imagine. A 5-year plan projecting cost versus likely revenue. If the cost increases and the revenue does not grow adequately, then you need to cut expenses in all areas starting now, not later. Raising taxes over the legal 2.5 on the backs of all our residents when Framingham is already unaffordable is pure folly. Doing so without sufficient analysis, data, or citizen communication is not good governance. It's unforgiving and it tarnishes your reputation as intelligent elected leaders. We need to find revenue. I have recently told you various areas to focus on, like having city employees pay their own health insurance premium increases. Just as do residents must pay their own premium increases. Raise capital spending over the pause capital spending over the next 5 years. You have to reprioritize and refocus.
You have 10 seconds, Mr. Bloomfield.
I'm coming to the end. If
Yes, you are.
sidewalk was corrected, If sidewalk was correctly utilized, oh well, that's in the past now. I will continue to point out areas to address.
Okay,
Good
Mr.
night,
Bloomfield,
good
thank
luck,
you.
and goodbye.
Thank you. Okay. Next is our recognition of the Framingham, Team Framingham 2026, the 25 runners who won the lottery and ran the marathon for Team Framingham. And I will recognize Jeff Rouse, who's chair of the Team Framingham Steering Committee, to speak.
Awesome. Thank you. So yes, Jeff Rouse, I'm the chair of the Team Framingham Steering Committee. So a quick recap of the season, but first I'd just like to give out some thank yous. So first off, Mayor Szycki, City Council for, the overall support of Team Framingham and the runners. Special thank you to the Department of Public Works. It was a interesting season with hanging our banners, and they were very helpful with getting that done. Framingham Public Schools provided busing as usual for our runners for training runs, as well as a bus to the Athletes Village. Some community thank yous to Jack's Abbey for helping host our neighbor nights and helping to increase fundraising for our charities. Metro West YMCA providing complimentary memberships for our runners. We also partnered with Adidas this year, who provided some donations for our highest fundraisers. And then a thank you to the charities for being partners through everything. The banner sponsors who sponsored all of our runners for the banners that we're hanging up along the marathon route. We have mentors for our runners, and then obviously the other members of the steering committee, and then most of all the runners themselves who really did all of the hard work. This year we had 10 charity applications, and as usual we had 5 selected. So this year it was the Framingham Heart Study, Friends of Callahan Senior Center, Framingham Force, Mental Health Collaborative, and Downtown Framingham. We had 84 runner applicants, and we had 25 runners selected, of which 23 runners started the race. 2 weren't able to due to injury, and all 23 who did start were able to finish the marathon this year. This year we raised a total of $107,425 for the 5 charities above. Which puts our total over the 13 years Team Framingham has been in existence at $1,255,385.40 over the 13 years. Wow. Thank you.
Would you like to introduce the runners, or how you want to handle it?
Do we have a microphone that we could pass around? I don't know that I know everybody. Oh, it does. Perfect. So yeah, why don't I start off with the steering committee over here, and I'll start over with you, Mike, and then if you want to pass it around.
Mike Bauer, member of the steering committee.
Amy Pearl, steering committee.
Susan Richardson, steering committee.
Hi, Jackie Burgoyne, also member of the steering committee.
Jamie Dobson, runner for Callahan Senior Center. Cherry Barham, runner for the Friends of the Framingham Heart Study.
And Dana Demers, also a runner for Friends of the Framingham Heart Study.
Oh, that's my daughter. She's just, that's all I got. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just briefly, I know we're all delighted and thrilled, and you continue to inspire so many. And I love the stories of, people put their name in sort of on a whim. I've never run before. I've never done. Maybe I did a 5K when 20 years ago. But the success stories that come from your mentoring, your program of someone, we take for granted, the Boston Marathon. It's one of the hardest marathons in the world. Aside from the fact that there is no such thing as an easy marathon, Boston is a particular challenge, and the pride and the camaraderie that I see from strangers that become family over the course of those months and those January training runs, just truly inspiring. And Mike Bauer refuses to take the spotlight, but it was a really good idea when he and then Selectman Szycki and Dennis Giambetti had an idea. because most communities along the route of the Boston Marathon, these bibs, which are real assets, are kind of get handed out to those who know and those who are known. And you guys came up with a better idea, and to see what it's become is truly remarkable. And I'm truly privileged to kind of cheer you on from the sidelines and have avoided running even a single step, even a small mosey, and I'm thankful for that. I continue to carbo load on your behalf. But keep doing what you're doing. I'm eternally grateful. You've chosen the hardest way to serve your community, and those are serious dollars that make a difference to those charities. So thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. You can.
Just to say, we typically do a picture with all the city council members. Is that something we're able to do with those of us here? Find Mike later.
Taking pictures. Do you have a picture taking apparatus?
And last but not least, we'd like to introduce Marion Kelly, who is also on the Team Framingham Steering Committee, for all of her tremendous efforts.
Okay, next on the agenda, request of the appointment subcommittee, recommendation regarding the mayor's appointment to the Framingham School Building Committee. Ms. Lean Bruno.
Comes up quickly.
First on the
Thank
agenda.
you. Yeah, thank you so much. So the appointment subcommittee met last night, actually on May 4th, with the applicant Shreya Shah of Precinct 5, and was appointed to the indefinite seat, the mayor's appointment for the Framingham School Building Committee, and we voted 3-0 to approve. So I make that motion.
Second.
Second.
Okay, so all those in favor, starting back to my list, Ms. Malik?
Yes.
Yes.
Wait, no, I'm starting with Ms. Malik on my list, I apologize. I'm back to my list by districts.
There's no interesting
So it just
list.
happens, she's at the end of the table. So next is Mr. Stefanini?
Yes.
Okay, and then next is Councilor Bryant?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Ms. Lean Bruno?
Yes.
Councilor Long?
Yes.
Now Councilor Feeney?
Yes.
Excellent. Councilor
Thank you.
Cannon?
Yes.
Councilor Aviani?
Yes.
Very good.
Doesn't 5 become for 6 last time I
Yes.
checked? They taught us that at BC, you know.
What's
5.
that?
Councilor Alexander's District 5, that comes before 6, you missed him.
Oh, yeah, so that's because he wasn't here at the last meeting, so I have to put his name.
Just thought I'd throw.
Punishment. Oh,
Yes.
all right.
No,
I
I'm just
get
saying,
it.
it's
Easiest job in the world, that job over there.
Thank you, everyone.
not a bad job. All right, next
Can
on
I
the
just say,
agenda.
I'd like to thank Ms. Shaw for stepping forward. Many people that have, her type of work feel like it would be too much of a burden, but you did step up, so we really appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, next is appointment of 2 youth council members to District 2 and District 5. So I would, this does not require a vote of the council because every councilor has one appointment to this youth council. So Councilor Ward is appointed Sanika Agrawal, I hope I said that right, of District 2.
No.
You didn't,
They're
she's
shaking
telling
their
you.
heads.
Is that, okay, you'd like to introduce yourself to us? Just put you right on the, put you right on the spot here.
He's going to never get your name wrong again.
Hi, I'm Sonika Agrawal, and I was appointed
Appointed by Councilor Ward in District 2.
for District 2.
Great. thank you.
Congratulations.
Where does she go to school? We're getting any of that now?
Yeah, what, you mind just tell us what grade you're in, where you go to school, what,
Not getting off the hook.
yeah,
I'm a freshman. I go to Framingham High School.
great. Thank you very much for
Thank
coming down
you.
here tonight, we appreciate it. Welcome to
Good
the
luck.
Youth Council. And Lorena Cormier from District 5, I don't know. Not here, okay, so that's your appointment, Mr. Alexander, so she's appointed, essentially.
She is.
Okay,
Thank you, Mr.
great. Very good. So that rounds out our youth council, I believe, right? All
Yes.
seats are full now? Excellent. Okay, next we have the report of the mayor.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you know, I submitted my fiscal '27 budget to the City Council last week. We won't go into detail now as it's scheduled for further discussion later on tonight's agenda, but we look forward to working collaboratively with the council and the public in the weeks ahead. On Monday, I had the honor of speaking at the groundbreaking for the Framingham Firefighters Memorial at Fire Headquarters. The memorial will serve as a lasting tribute to those who made the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty and those lost to occupational illness. It's especially meaningful that this event took place on International Firefighters Day, a time to recognize the courage and dedication of firefighters everywhere. We want to thank everyone who participated in the city's Shred Fest this past weekend at the DPW Recycling Center. It was a successful event that provided residents with a safe and secure way to dispose of sensitive documents. The city's urban street sweeping program began today and will continue through the fall. We ask the downtown and south side residents who are going to be affected to please be mindful of posted signage to help crews complete this important work efficiently and help to keep our roadways clean. DPW had completed its annual street sweeping work across the entire city in April and has completed the annual curbside leaf and brush collection as well. The city's water meter modernization program also began this week. The Department of Public Works Water Division is replacing older meters with updated equipment to improve billing accuracy, enhance customer service, and reduce water loss. Installations are required and provided at no cost, with the contractor Hydro Utilities notifying residents by mail to schedule appointments. Hydro Utilities technicians will complete all installations, including replacing the register head, upgrading communication modules, and testing the system. Work will not interrupt your water service, and technicians will carry identification and use clearly marked vehicles. The Spring DPW Hazardous Household Waste Disposal Day will take place on Saturday, May 16th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at DPW headquarters. This is an important opportunity for residents to safely dispose of household hazardous materials. More details can be found on the city's website and also the DPW's Facebook page. On Thursday, May 7th, the Cochituate Rail Trail in Framingham only, not the Natick portion, will be fully closed until 3 p.m. to accommodate the city's Arbor Day of Service. This closure is necessary to ensure safety while crews and volunteers conduct tree pruning, removals, and new plantings to support our urban tree canopy. Just a reminder that the Commonwealth of Massachusetts DCAM division will be holding its groundbreaking ceremony for the Framingham Regional Justice Center on Friday, May 8th at 11 a.m. at the former high school and Danforth Museum building on Union Avenue. We have several other community events coming up on Saturday. As mentioned earlier, the Bicycle, Pedestrian, and Trails Committee will host a kids' bike rodeo on Saturday, offering a fun and educational opportunity for young riders from 10 a.m. to noon at Cushing Memorial Park. As you also heard earlier, this is National Bike Month, so we want a lot of people to come out and ride their bikes. Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. is the opening celebration for art on the Cochituate Rail Trail, and will highlight local artists and creative expression along the trail. This unique outdoor exhibition features original works installed along the trail corridor, inviting residents and visitors to experience art in a natural, accessible setting. The installation reflects the theme of moving, which can be interpreted in many ways, from physical movement along the trail to personal growth, change, and emotional connection. As people walk or bike throughout the space, they are invited to pause, reflect, and experience how art and nature intersect. Also this Saturday morning Neighborhood residents are invited to a preview of the Walnut Street Flood Mitigation Project. It's an opportunity to see the progress made on this important infrastructure investment. And just late breaking news, I've been advised by Allison Elliott from the Park and Rec Department that this project has received an award from the New England Stream Water Collaborative. We'll have more details in the future about that award. As we approach Memorial Day, the city is seeking volunteers to help place flags on veterans' graves. On Saturday, May 16th, volunteers will gather at Edgell Grove Cemetery at 9 a.m. to assist with this meaningful tradition honoring those who served our country. And that is my report, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions for the mayor about this report? Mr. Stefanini.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Mayor, I wanted to say thank you. One of the things that, for those who know, trash trains have been a major issue in South Framingham on and off, especially during hot, humid weather. And you put the force of your administration, Mr. Tassino and Mr. Murphy and yourself, organized through the Surface Transportation Board a meeting with CSX. While we didn't get everything we wanted, and it wasn't necessarily, I don't know that it was definitive, it was productive. And I think we're advancing the conversation with them. And for anybody who's listening to this, we need specific pictures of specific trains, times, and I've talked to people who've emailed and called me, but if someone's watching this, we need that information to help us continue to figure out how to address this. And I just want to say thank you.
Anything else for the mayor, Mr. Cannon?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A few months ago, you mentioned that you were, I'm just following up on a question about transferring properties to the EDC. Back in February, early February, you said probably in the next couple of months. Where are we with that?
The EDC is in the process of preparing a 1- and 5-year plan, and they're going to be making a presentation to the council in the very near future. And before I can request the council to transfer any property, we need to have that plan prepared and presented to the council and approved by the council so we can transfer any property that we so desire to transfer to them so they can proceed with their plan. So we're waiting for that committee to finish work on the plan and bring it before the council.
Okay, interesting. The building next door, 188 Concord Street, I went back in my notes, and I'm going a little bit from recollection. I perhaps didn't realize just how extensive the deconstruction before construction would be. It looks like we've taken the entirety of the building apart. And I remember when we voted for it, it was appealing that we had a tenant paying rent, the parole board. I can't imagine that they're still there. When did they move out? What did that do to the lease? What is the status of that?
Ms. Casino can talk about when they moved out. We're comping them a few months for rent because they had to move out while we did this work. The work was expected to be done from the very beginning because of the nature of the use of that building. It had to have its steel framework reinforced because of all the sensitive equipment that's going to be installed for the joint regional dispatch. And that work is underway now. It's being paid 100% by the state grant on the 911 Commission. And once that's done, the tenants will be able to move back in, including the Board of Health.
So where did they move to, and how much is it costing us? I just don't remember us figuring in having to comp rent as part of the process. I could be remembering that incorrectly.
I'm not sure where they moved to. They moved out about a month ago, and we are not collecting rent while they are out of the building.
And what is that a month?
I think their rent is around $7,000.
Okay. And it's 2 months that is it a couple of months, or is it, it
could be
the building is disassembled. It's
right. It could be 2 or 3 months.
Wow. Okay.
I talked to the super a couple weeks ago, and he thought it would be substantially finished by November, so,
We anticipated them moving out when we
yes.
Okay. And then similar question, or on the same subject, the staff, or at least the director, assistant director, are being paid currently through the MREC, yes?
Yes,
Are
yes.
they, I don't get the sense that anyone is sitting in our dispatch. When I've talked to folks in police and fire, what is the process there? When will they begin to do that so they can begin to understand our culture in dispatch and the other communities as well? How is that working?
I believe they're going to be setting up a training program for all the dispatchers. I wouldn't call it our culture, it's going to be the MREC culture, and the director, Erin Hastings, will set that policy and culture as far as how calls are dispatched and received and so forth.
Right, but I would think that as part of that, they would want to, or we would ask them to observe what we're currently doing to learn from that. How can we do better? What are other communities doing? Is that not part of the plan? We're paying them. I mean, what are they doing?
They're planning the center, they're running RFPs and bids on the equipment, they're overseeing, whatever aspect of that's going on at the time, floor plans, they're dealing with the chiefs in each respective town. They report to the MREC Board of Directors.
So I guess just as a resident of Framingham then, we're turning over our dispatch to a regional center, but that new vendor, that new provider is not spending time prior to that going live in our active dispatch facilities?
She and her assistant director are not in the facilities. They're in Natick now, but they roam from Framingham to Wayland to Natick to get a good handle on what has to happen. They are behind the scenes designing, not designing as an architect, but designing the policy and the procedures of how the dispatch center will run.
So I'll leave it here, but I guess I'm confused then. They're roaming from those towns, but are they spending time in our dispatch as part of the roaming to Framingham and the other towns?
I don't know for sure, but I know that
Can we look
they're
into
in.
that? I think that's an important thing for, if we're going to be, it's a really sizable transition operationally, and I have all the confidence in the world that we're making the right decision, and I'm really impressed with the work that the administration has done moving in this direction. But among their duties, which seem lighter than they will be when the center opens, it would be, I think, beneficial for them and for Framingham long-term if they could spend some time learning from and absorbing what we're doing, because that kind of cross-pollination I think would be of value.
Sure, we have a meeting this Thursday, so we can bring that up.
Terrific. And I promise, last question, Mr. Chairman. Where are we? Is there any news, anything to report on a pool? I got a great note from some students at Walsh, and they reminded me of the, Mike, we're driving a half hour to and from swim practice, and that's Sudbury when it's close by. We heard you got $3.15 million for the community center. Can any of that be used for a pool? I know it's been talked about, but in the last note that I have, you were going to maybe share something with us at the beginning of the last calendar year, Mr. Mayor. What do we have to share?
That's been one of the big frustrations. We've looked and tried and talked to a lot of people about getting a pool built in Framingham, either publicly or through a public-private partnership, and we haven't been able to come up with a lot yet. We thought we had a location for it, and we talked to a number of people that are involved with running pools and hockey rinks, and we still haven't come up with a lot yet. I mean, it's on our mind, and we think about it often, but we don't have a solution yet.
Okay, I appreciate the candor. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And thank you, Mr. Tassino.
Thank you. Mr. Alviani.
Just to follow up on Councilor Cannon. I remember when Paul Robshin built that building, okay? If we were going to do all the work we were going to do, we should have taken advantage of our own zoning and gone up 2 more stories. You need the space. The building's completely redone. You could have gone up 2 more stories and grabbed another 8,000 square feet, take some more pressure off this building. And in hindsight, if we knew what we knew now, and Mr. Tassino, I think, mentioned it, I heard him mention it a long time ago, that dispatch center should have gone on the top floor of Marion High School. When you think about it, with everything I see going on, that's probably where it should have gone, to be honest with you, because it's a beautiful building. I went to school there. I was on the board when we closed it. It was heartbreaking. I was thrilled the city bought it. But there's a lot of moving pieces. That building over there, it's a complete rebuild. At least the extra couple stories. Probably would have been a lot cheaper to do that now. But a little late, I guess. Just throwing it out there, because I didn't realize the significance of what was going to be done. I knew we had to do the roof and some things, but it's completely, it's a brand-new building.
Right, it is like a new building. I think that, I don't understand, I assume I do understand, why the parole board has to be there. I mean, it's nice to get to $7,000 a month, but especially if the building's being rebuilt, I'm sure there's a more value for them than, I don't know, it just seems like we could use the space. So how much longer do they have to stay? Can they stay wherever they went?
They get a lease.
They have 7 years left on their lease.
Are they maybe interested, though, in not renewing it?
They've showed great interest in staying in Framingham. They love being in that building, so.
Sure they do.
But
wait till it's rebuilt, they'll even love it
Why
more.
do you say it like that?
Why do I say what like that?
I'm sure they do.
Because they're paying relatively low rent for a brand-new building. So why would they not
Well,
like
they
that?
will be. It wasn't a brand-new building when they were paying.
Right, so
before.
that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm sure they do want to stay. For that rent, why wouldn't they want to stay?
I don't think that's the only reason. I have my hand raised.
Oh, you have your hand raised in the mayor's report?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right, so I just really want to comment on what Councilor Vianney said, since he brought up like possible changes. I think the reason why, one reason why I don't think that the dispatch center would be great there if we had other things going on there, like a community center, is because Marion, doesn't have that area.
Miss Bryant, that was just a comment. We're not going to debate the
And
merits
so
of the
why can he
dispatch
make a comment
center.
and I can't?
He made a comment, but we're not going to debate the merits of
I'm
the
not
dispatch
debating
center.
I'm giving my opinion too. So the piece, I'm saying there's reasons not to consider that. He said he didn't understand why they didn't go there. I do understand why they did.
Okay, thank you.
But obviously, you only want to hear his opinion, so I won't go there with that. But the other thing, as to the parole board, I think that having them there has been beneficial to them and members of the community too. So I think it was a good location for them, and it's nearby the police station or whatever. Several things key that play in. So I think I think where it was very good for the community, and I think it should stay there.
Well, I don't think we're going to have any choice, so you'll be getting your wish. Okay, anything else? All right, so next would be the mayor for the presentation of the FY 2027 budget.
Did you say presentation?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I not presentation. I mean, it says that you're going to, I didn't mean that you're going to present the entire budget. I just meant that did you want to make, I thought you wanted to make some opening
Yeah,
comments.
I'll just make some very general comments.
All right, that's what I meant. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to suggest otherwise.
All right. As you know, we presented the CFO's budget memorandum, distributing the different documents that go along with the budget, all the background information. And just as a brief summary, the recommended budget that we submitted is for $401,771,328, which is an increase of $18.7 million over last year, or a 4.9 increase over fiscal '26. We've spent many, many months crunching numbers and looking for revenue and tweaking numbers, and you'll see that a great deal of the final data that's presented to you has changed over the months from when we first brought the rough numbers to you. We've tried to tweak the revenue numbers. We've been watching what's going on at the State House. As you know, the governor submitted her budget, then the House of Representatives submitted theirs, and Today, the State Senate's Ways and Means Committee presented their version, and the State Senate will begin discussion on their version of the budget. And each one of them has slightly different numbers than the other groups, and it's going to require the joint committee getting together with the House and Senate to come up with their final recommendation, which then would have to be approved by the governor. So there are some encouraging signs in the different recommendations that are coming out of the House and Senate and the governor's budget. Those numbers haven't been included in our revenue projections or our cost projections, because right now there are only recommendations that have to be resolved between all three groups. So it's possible that once the final state budget is approved, we could make last-minute adjustments to ours based on final recommendations from the state on local aid and Chapter 70 money, but we don't feel that we can include those numbers now in the budget because they're not firm and they're only estimates. So that's where we're at. We plan on doing a full presentation to you at your upcoming Finance Committee meeting, and keep working with you to come up with a final recommendation for the budget. As you know, it includes a use of about a little over $14 million in free cash. It includes a recommendation that we go to 4.5% for a tax levy assessment. And it involves some substantial cuts to different budgets, including the recommended school budget. The school committee voted a budget of about $100 million, and the recommendation that we're presenting to you is a budget of $188 million approximately for the schools. So that's got to be worked out with the school department administration, and we can talk about other things when we meet on Thursday night and beyond.
Okay, so, tell everybody to jump on the seat at once. So we'll start following.
I just administratively, I'd like to request that you get those documents up on the city's budget central website, because right now the only place I think they can be accessed is on the agenda of the city council meeting. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a quick question. One of the big things was about the chief sustainability officer, and I just have a quick question, because looking at the compensation schedule here, there's two sustainability coordinators. Can you just clarify that?
For the lack of a better name, we call them both sustainability coordinators. One is the existing position, and the other one is the new position. We put money in for approximately half a year's salary. The HR department has prepared a draft job description and have costed it out and slotted it at $120,000 for a year for that position. We expect to bring that before you to get the classification plan amended to include that position and appropriate and approve that salary. So figuring that we would probably not be able to hire somebody until mid-year, we put in half a year's salary in anticipation of that happening.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to double check that, since they were both called sustainability coordinator.
We'll come up with a better name for the new position.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Stefanini.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and welcome, Mr. CFO. I can appreciate having started something similar 3 weeks before the state budget. And I was impressed by the memo you wrote on such short notice. That said, this budget with a 4.9% proposed increase is structurally deficient by $14 million. It takes on too much risk, in my opinion. It ignores our current fiscal reality, provides no strategic plan or innovative actions, and stresses our residents' pocketbooks further. And as we talk about a lot, the most important thing to police, fire, and public works and schools is fiscal stability. $14 million in a one-time expenditure is equivalent to 6.5% increase in our taxes. We don't have that money next year. We have to increase our taxes by 6.5% just to get to where we are. And we keep telling ourselves that it isn't going to, we'll do better next year. Well, we went from $10 million of free cash to $14 million. Does that mean next year we got to go to 18? We don't even know whether we'll have those kinds of revenues. The fiscal crises of 90, 2001, 2009 have demonstrated to us again and again, delaying the slow and the growth results in devastating cuts and huge tax increases. We see it. The average increase in the state this year is 2.9%. This budget is 4.9%. Reluctantly, I think the most prudent decision for us tonight is to do what Boston did again and again for decades, is reject the budget immediately, give the administration time to rewrite it, to work with the 6 largest department heads and the Finance Committee, and within 2 weeks come back with hopefully a budget that has pain that we can acknowledge is shared, but that gives us all the ability to have a budget that's sustainable. I'd ask the administration to work with folks to do that by the 19th. As such, I would move that the council reject this budget and ask the administration and the 6 largest department heads to meet with the Finance Committee at its upcoming meeting to formulate an appropriations ordinance within 2 weeks for the entire council's review. And I would further move that the administration answer the following questions. What are the projected CBA, collective bargaining agreement, and other personnel expenses for the last year and next 3 years by department? Because that seems to be what's driving this conversation. And it'd be helpful to know what are they going to be next year, so that if we have a cliff coming and we see it, how do we deal with it? 2, is the repayment of $1 million in unreimbursed ARPA funds included in this budget, or is that in addition to the tax rate? What are the implications of a smaller increase, a 2% reduction from this proposed budget, with its nearly 5% increase for each of the 6 largest department budgets? We're lucky we have 5 senior managers in those positions. I think we need to hear from them as to what the implications are, because it's coming, whether it's this year or next year. We're dealing with this fiscal crisis. And lastly, what is the administration's plan to develop a strategic plan, including a multi-year budgeting forecast?
I'll second that.
So since we're going across the table, I'm just going to keep going in this direction, so I'll make my comments now. Sorry about that noise. So I have a few concerns about the budget, which I don't think is going to surprise anybody. I can't support the 4.5% as currently presented. You know, it's frustrating because I understand, and I'm not saying if we have to balance the budget at a certain level, that might not be the way to do it. But we're in this position where we have excess capacity of $40+ million because we worked hard through, particularly through 2018 to about 2022 or so. And in fairness, if you look at the excess capacity, about 2/3 of it came from our first 4 to 5 years as a city, and the balance came from about the last 5 to 8 years as a town. So the city council certainly went a long way towards helping us achieve excess capacity. I'm not sure, I think we did it because we felt we didn't need to spend that money at that time as opposed to looking to save it for a future date. There are provisions where we could take that excess capacity off our books, but we never got to that point because it has to be done in a combination way with the executive. You look around at other cities, such as our town, like similar size maybe, or situated towns, there are a lot of overrides going on. There's no question about it. Arlington just asked for $14.2 million in override, and Everett or Medford or somewhere in there, there was a good size override, $10 million. Some towns have got rejected, most towns have passed. That's a lot of money. We're essentially here ourselves, if we accept this budget, accepting an override of about $4.5 million without a vote because we have the excess capacity. I have a couple concerns about it. One is it's a Band-Aid because John talked about the crisis points of 90, 2001, 2008. And though those may have been the key years there, they were multi-year problems. They weren't one-year problems. Those were the key years those may have been the worst of the years in those, but they all had a couple of years around them on each side. So I'm not convinced this is the worst year. But I would rather, this is complicated, I'm sorry, but I would rather ask our voters if they'd like to raise their taxes $10, $12, $14 million like Arlington and people like that, or not. And we ask them. If they say yes, we can do it with our excess capacity. If they say no, then we have to look at it differently. But I think if we're going to do it, we shouldn't ask our voters to go up to 4.5%. We should ask them if they want to raise it to $10 to $15 million. That solves our free cash problem, and it solves our doesn't solve, but it makes it feel a lot more genuine to go so far above the 2.5 limit. So if we're going to go, let's go, or let's see if people want to go. But now we're just putting Band-Aids on it, and I appreciate how difficult this situation is. I'm not being critical of it. I'm just saying that I personally cannot support a proposal that raises the tax base 4.5% and uses $14 million of free cash without other types of structural changes, improvements, plans, things like that. I think there are some good ideas in the works, and I'm confident with a new CFO that we may have, and it's unfair to put any level of expectation or pressure on him, but I do think that there are some things that having someone who has professionally run budgets for a long time, may be an advantage to us, and maybe these are the types of ideas. But those are the things I'd rather see us look at. And I think if I would tend to support the motion made, not so much because as a immediate slap back to the administration, because I don't think it should be seen that way at all. I don't think it's meant that way. I think it's just meant by a recognition up here that we're not really in a position to cut this budget, and at least not do it as well as you guys do. I realize you don't want to cut it. I appreciate that. But if you have to, if you know we're not going to be able to do it, I'd rather have you have that level of leadership and discussion in it than us just going through it maybe like we did in the early years of the city and just taking things out where we wanted. I mean, one of our actions got to the appeals court, so I'd like to avoid those types of situations. Because even though that particular action may have actually made sense and worked out well, in general, I don't think that's really the very best way to do it. So I think I think the value of the budget you presented here tonight is it shows us where we are. It shows us what the demands are, and if we don't, it just shows us where we are. But if we're going to really do anything about it, we have to really reject it, not, again, to slap it back to you, but because otherwise our timelines get screwed up and things like that. By sending it back right away, we can restart our timeline. But if we just say, we'll work on it, then our timeline goes. If we absolutely reject it, then it has to start again a little bit. So that's my thought on it, and I hope that we can work something out. Anybody over this side? We'll just keep going, Janet.
No, thank you. I don't think that I could repeat exactly what you and John just said, but I agree with pretty much everything you both said. And I also think that, this has been tough, and I understand, with the new CFO, there's a challenge. It seems a few years ago, money was just flying all over the place. And these years aren't here. We're seeing it around the state. We're hearing from other communities, and we've lost, 700 plus kids at our schools. That adds another challenge. And I think, though, at this 4.5%, I think is just too much. I don't think that, I'm speaking for myself, but from what I'm hearing from, the councilors that have already spoken, but I think that they are coming from the same place that I think we're in the same place of where we're at here. And I think that this kind of an increase is just unsustainable, especially with the 14+ million in free cash. You know, the question is where are we next year? We're basically 14 million less now. And we're gonna probably be in more trouble next year. So I think that just sending it back and just saying, you know, fix it, I think isn't what I think John, you know, speaking, you know, what I think that he was saying. But I do think that we need to see some structural, you know, changes here. And I don't really know what they are, but I think if it goes before us and we have to start, you know, checking off what we want to cut, I don't think that would be fair, because we don't know, you know, how these departments are run, and I think that you guys have that expertise, but I think that we have to definitely do something here, because I can't see 4.5% being something that most people will be able to sustain at all. So just wanted to, you know, add my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, Janet. Mike?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I concur with everything that's been said, and I recognize the difficult position that the administration is in, and that this is not a problem that's been created overnight. And I also absolve the brand-new CFO from the responsibility of cleaning up a mess that you did not create, nor did any, you know, 1 or 2 people or 11 people in this room create. This has been a long time coming. I bet there are decisions that, in retrospect, many of us in this room wish we had made at a different time. Mr. Mayor, you may remember when you were on the Finance Committee in the first City Council, the first term, then Mayor, your predecessor, Mayor Spicer, put forth her first budget proposal, and it was, I mean, it was somewhat breathtaking to a lot of us. And I jokingly, but somewhat seriously, gave red pens to all members of the Finance Committee that first year, because it was so just over the top and frankly out of touch. That budget, and even after the then Finance Committee cut millions of dollars from it and the sky didn't fall, where we are today, it's going to cost us $117 thereabouts million more in a year just to operate the budget, to basically do the same thing the way we've always done it, just more expensively. There's nothing, there are no brave decisions in this budget. There's nothing innovative. There's none of the things that so many of us have talked about year after year that would yield greater value to the taxpayers that are footing the bill for this. This is just the product of, we're doing everything. I was heartened when you talked about the plan that you're waiting for from the EDC. I think it's a really good idea. I was frankly hoping for something like that when I asked your administration a very broad question about some of our real property and what our vision is, just to get a sense. Nothing didn't have to be formal, but I was really struck by what was not even mentioned at all. And I felt at the time it was a microcosm of some of the lack of planning that may exist in other areas. So I think you're faced with a number of difficult decisions. I think you're relying on, perhaps in some areas, members of your team that are not up to where we need to be as we cross for the first time in history a number that I never thought we'd get to, $400 million to operate a local municipal government. And schools need to figure their, you know, long-term plan out. But back that budget that I talked about, it was some years ago, but it wasn't back in the 50s. They were about 47% then. They're about 47% now as proposed. So they're part of the discussion, and an important one is their enrollment declines. And I'm told there are 6 empty classrooms at Harmony Grove. But I am just so fearful as to where we are and where we go, because we're not even making the easy decisions. The easiest decision would have been, you know what, let's not put Mike Cannon in a position so he can harp on $400 million as a number. Let's at least give the council a $399.9 million budget so they're not squawking about something that optically looks irresponsible. But we couldn't even find a way to do that. You can do that without impacting public services, without missing a beat. And I don't want to go into all the things that we've talked about on how we yield greater value for the taxpayers that we seem to talk about year after year, but no action comes. There's nothing brave here. I can get behind some, you know, it's going to cost us more to do this, but here's the long-term benefit. This is trying to, I don't know. I like the suggestions that have been brought up, and at the time, when the time comes, I will vote in the affirmative to reject the budget. For the first time, I never thought we'd get there. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Anybody else? Still have anything?
Yep, thank you, Mr. Chair. You know, as chair of the Finance Committee, breathtaking is the right word. It takes my breath away. It's, there's no way the 14.5 million, it just doesn't work. We're setting ourselves up to fail. And all of us are going to be here again next year, and you're here for 3 more years. And, you know, Councilor Cannon said it best, the new guy just shows up, you know, we can't dump it on his lap. Like Stephanie said, he came up with a great memo, but we got to fix some things. There's some new things happening in the city. Hopefully, we can do some consolidation. You know, go to the guy that has common sense, that might not have the JD degree, for crying out loud, and he tells you, you know, maybe if you combine facilities, you might not save money, but you'll have efficiencies. They laugh at him. Made another comment once, this person. You know, instead of building all these new elementary schools, let's build a big, and I won't even use the word he used after that, a new high school, and take all the elementary schools and dump them over to the high school. Things that are worth looking at. You know, the schools, I want to say it again. We got your budget the other day. The headline 2 months ago, City Council cut school budget by $8 million. Are you kidding me? We got $9 million in new revenue. They want 15 is where they started, but we're the bad guys all the time. And it gets old. And you know, I got people, and in full disclosure, my daughter's a junior at LaSalle University and works, and doesn't get paid, but is 1 day a week at Dunning Elementary School. And she is at Blocks. And my daughter has people lobbying her, a 20-year-old, to talk to her father, okay? Really? And we all know she can talk as good as me, so it's a chess match in my house. It's like, you gotta be kidding me. And why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Okay, great. I think we need to take a serious look, and Councilor King said it best. I know some people on the Finance Subcommittee really weren't, maybe only 1 or 2, about going out to the voters. We really should go out to the voters, because somebody from SciFox said it best tonight, and they predicted this months ago. We've all talked about it. To fix the problem, it's not 2.5, it's not 3.5, it's not 4.5. Go for the gusto, but let the people out there, let Joe Public tell us he wants his taxes raised, because I'm going to say it again. I don't know anyone that lives in that average house, okay? I got guys calling me, he gets a $30,000 water bill that's a year old. These little Brazilian restaurants in downtown getting water bills. The water is still a serious problem. The other day, I had 3 water inspections for final reads. They used to be able to call up, get a final read. They had to come replace all the meters. They're still replacing meters. And it's a software problem, it's a hardware problem. I don't know what the problem is, but the meters are a mess. And we need to take a hard look at that, because, you know, Roy McDowell could afford it. He wrote the check, okay? But he got a bill for like, what, 6 figures, $100,000? Some of the tenants moved out. He wrote the check and paid the city of Framingham. But get the small business owner that gets a bill for $30,000, how's he going to handle it? And I know we're trying to work with them, and, you know, interest in different things and payment plans, and we've all been there. But we need to put the brakes on, because if we do this today, tomorrow's not going to happen. Next year, we're going to be sitting here, and we're going to be in the wave of the storm, and there's going to be no way out. And, you know, all the big, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to get a lot of grief for it, but I don't really care anymore. But I sent some of my councils a little thing. Out in Nantucket, the town meeting voted to give their selectmen a $10,000 raise and give their chair of the Board of Selectmen another $10,000. So they're making 14, 5, and 17, something like that. And everybody in the whole building got big raises, and we work for nickels and dimes up here. And I put in as many hours as anybody. Nobody calls Phil Ottaviani and say, hi, how are you? They call me up, I got a problem. I want a mirror at the end of my street. I got a pothole. They're speeding down my street. And I love it. Don't get me wrong, I love it. I need housing. Go see Paul Landers. There's a 10-year list. Oh, my father's a veteran. Go see Paul Landers. The calls come every single day, and we're fielding the calls. And people hear this $400 million number, they're going crazy. And, you know, Jerry Bloomfield, he just doesn't call in here. He calls the majority of us at home and leaves messages on the phone, and he doesn't have a cell phone. You got to call the landline. But we're all getting the calls. And let's at least let the people make the decision. And we did this. Councilor King said it best. He knows the numbers, or not the numbers, but he knows the numbers, but he knows the dates, because he was the clerk at one time and a town manager and the whole 9 yards and a school administrator and a principal. He said we had an election way back when, if he can refresh our memories. We went out to the voters.
2002.
What time?
2002.
Yeah, decades ago. But I think they should have a say. And if they say yay, we do it. But you know what? I think they should have a part of the conversation. I truly believe it. I support Councilor Stefani's motion, and I support Councilor King's idea about going to the voters, and I'm all in on both.
Ms. Bryant?
Thank you. Oops. Oh, yeah. Can you see me?
No.
Yeah. I I also support both Councilor Stefanini's motion, 1,000%, and also some of what George said, or the basis of it. I do want to say that I think Councilor Lambrino really made an important point in mentioning money was flowing a lot freer, and it is not now. So we know that it's been dammed up and stinted in Massachusetts and here, and just there are many factors, right? So that is, no matter how voluminous the prior one of the prior administration's budget was. But I think it was brave to propose the $4.5 million, 4.5 tax increase, because I think that that's like such a law. I don't see that happening at all. But I understand why it was necessary to put it forth. But by the same token, I think we've got to take that down a bit. And then the other thing I did wonder about the water meters. I thought that, that had been such a big problem for restaurants and stuff before, when I thought that a lot of the water meters the problem with the water meters was fixed. They were replaced, and it did cause problems as to what was the real cost to some restaurants and things like that. And I do wonder, did they ever get satisfaction? Did it ever get worked out amicably for the city and them? And so I do want to understand, Mayor, what now? Why? It seems pretty soon to be having to replace water meters again. The other thing is, I do agree with Councilor Ottaviani. He said, we're working for, really chump change. We are working for pennies on the dollar. And that probably needs to change, because we have enough work where it's a full-time job, really, if we do it the way we would like to do it. And while I agree with so much that Councilor Cannon said, and love the way he presented it all, I will disagree with him and several others. I believe we hired the new CFO in order to dump all this on his lap, to have you, take the helm, like and sort of stop wrestling with it. And we need that. Mainly, we definitely wanted him here in time for the budget. So, but I understand what they're saying. We don't blame you for what happened in the past, in the numbers that are being put forth and the options. But yes, we need you guys we need you and the administration to take it back now, and come up with some more options, or alter it in some way. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments about this? See, Ms. Long.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Not to reiterate everything that's already been said, but I obviously am not in favor of a 4.5% increase. And I think that your point that this should be something that goes to the voters if we're going to override taxes. Secondly, the only point I want to make, aside from everything else that's been said that I agree with, is this is where we should be focusing on economic development, and particularly in the commercial base, but also in our residential. So just think towards that when you're thinking about this budget and how I hate it, and I'm not voting for it. This needs to get fixed, because it certainly isn't sustainable. And I don't think anybody's going to want to vote for a $400 million budget, especially with a 4.5% increase on taxes to the taxpayer for our homes and commercial businesses. So I think we need to be thinking about what we can do to fix a lot of this problem through economic development. And I don't see a lot of that going on in the commercial end, or I don't know what's going on with EDC as to business development. So I know I'm working a lot of zoning, and I hope the council supports the zoning initiatives that come forward to create the kind of revenue that we're going to need to support the economy for Framingham. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. I will see Mr. Bloomfield, not Mr. Bloomfield, Mr. Chason on Zoom still, and I will start with him. Mr. Chason, go ahead. You got 2 minutes, Mr. Chason, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you have 2 minutes, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Well, it's very interesting, excuse me, listening to this discussion here. To me, as a 87-year-old senior citizen who's been on a fixed income for 15 years at least, that's where I'm coming from. Anyway, to me, it looks like chaos. What happened tonight looks like chaos in the budget process. And it looks like a lack of competent government, a lack of trust in the budget process, and now about the schools, I'm primarily interested in the schools. It looks like a lack of stability in the schools. Now, let's just take 1 minute, one little minute, and talk about the school committee spending months building a budget based on a target provided by the mayor way back. They held meetings, made painful reductions, evaluated staffing, finalized their plan in good faith. Then, what happened? And what's happening tonight? The goalposts are moved, cuts, crazy cuts. I mean, it's just, I'm going nuts here. It looks like lack of sound financial management, chaos again, I already said it, uncertainty for teachers and family, instability for students. There's a problem here, folks. Good luck. Good luck to all of us. This is a mess. So I'm urging you to do something creative because it's a mess. Think about the children in the schools, the children that I've worked for many, many years who need the help, as I said many times. So that's all. I'm done. Goodbye.
Thank you. Ms. Maskell, you got 2 minutes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you. Good evening, councilors. My name is Tiffany Maskell, and I'm a District 7 Framingham resident and a parent. I'm here because I'm deeply concerned about the FY27 school budget, consistency of the commitments being made. The mayor gave the school committee a target to build their budget. They did the excruciating work to build that target, or to meet that target, and now the submitted budget is almost $2 million below it. That gap didn't exist when the budget was built. It was created later, and now the schools are being asked to absorb it. That raises a serious question about reliability. The same is true with the teacher's contract. The mayor agreed to that contract, but the current budget falls short of supporting it, shifting the impact onto classrooms. Taken together, these decisions make it difficult to trust that commitments to our schools will be honored. And that matters, because without consistency, schools can't plan. And when schools can't plan, students and staff absorb the consequences. What we are seeing now are last-minute cuts that will mean larger class sizes, less support, fewer opportunities, and fewer adults in buildings. That affects learning, belonging, and safety. Right now, the burden is being shifted onto staff and onto students, and that is a choice. So I'm asking the city council to act. Reject any school budget that falls below the $6.25 million commitment and move to fund the school committee's budget, which prioritizes...
Ms. Maskell, your time is up, okay? You have like 10 seconds. Go ahead, but your time is up.
Students across this district will feel the impact of this decision every day, and the damage will be felt long after. Choose a path that protects classrooms and reflects the priorities of this community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Someone with the name Quinn on the screen.
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. You have 2 minutes.
Awesome. Thank you. I'll be much shorter. So from District 7, I just wanted to highlight something that a few of the councilors have said, which is comparing Framingham to other cities and using that, leveraging that. I mean, we are a very lucky city to have the huge number of big businesses, specifically national and international businesses. And so I just wonder, with other cities, either doing okay for their budget or whatever, if they're able to do it with less revenue resources than we have, we really need to find a way of making that work and leveraging the relationships that we have with these huge, massive, businesses that are in our city. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Next is Mr. Epstein. You got 2 minutes.
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can, go ahead.
Okay, great. Yeah, it's kind of disturbing this because if you reject this budget and send it back to the mayor, you're going to ask him to solve the problem in a couple of weeks. And it's obvious this is a really big structural problem. There's capital planning, there's operations, there's the schools. This is something the mayor will not be able to solve in a couple of weeks. And when mention is made of the fact that, hey, we should go big, 4.5 might not be enough. We just hired the new CFO, and it seems to me that the best thing would be to somehow muddle through this, not reject it, but work it through as well as you can, and then in the next year, try and solve this, because this will not be solved turning on a dime here. And it seems to me you invite trouble and draconian cuts, and there is no planning behind it that can be done in such short order. So I'd implore you to not reject the budget. The charter prescribes that the mayor submit it and then you consider it. It doesn't allow for rejection. And certainly there's no override needed because we have excess capacity, so going out to the voters makes no sense. So I'm saying, please, do what you can, cut where you can, but get through this budget and then take the next year to solve the problem. Thanks.
Thank you. Just one last public comment, Donna, and then we'll shut that off and go back to the council.
Hi, Donna Kilcoyne-Orth for District 1. I have been coming to meetings for a long time, and back in 2018, we talked about consolidating facilities between the schools and the city, and that would save us money, and nothing's been done with that. We also know that there's free cash that's coming in from this year, and at the finance meeting, we said, okay, what departments had free cash, and why are we now having their budget stay level or even go up? That doesn't make any sense. It's like we keep folding over free cash. It may not be there, and I think we need to look at which departments had the free cash that they submitted back this year. And I do think we need to give the CFO another 2 weeks or whatever it is to look over the budget again and look at where you can have savings. Because I think we do need to have savings. $400 million and a 4.5% tax increase, which let's be fair, we're not saying we're getting a 4.5% tax increase with better services, more firemen, more policemen. We're not getting any of that. And that's just not right. And it's not sustainable. And we need to think about having that vote. I think that vote and putting it out to all of the citizens is the only fair way to do it. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Aviani.
Just to piggyback on what Councilor Long said, and quick example. I met with some folks that are a lot smarter than me. Framingham versus Marlborough. Marlborough cleans our clock, okay? No question about it. Population in Marlborough, 42,000. Population in Framingham, 72,000. Total budget, Framingham, 400 million. Marlborough, 214 million. Annual EDC funding, Framingham, 150, first time. Marlborough, 900 plus. Funding source, Marlborough uses their hotel tax, we know that. The percentage of the city budget invested in economic development, what we should be doing, and we all see it, okay? The lights are on, but nobody's home some days down here. If we can't get commercial tax revenue, we got a big problem, okay? Our city budget, 0.0375%, Marlborough 0.42%. Per capita investment in Framingham, $2.10, a whole big 210, in Marlborough, $21.40. Order of magnitude. Marlboro invests 6 times more dollars than we do in economic development. I figured we picked them because they're the closest people next door, and they're a city, and you go in there, and it's booming. It's just booming. That's 10 times more per resident than we spend in Framingham. The budget priority difference, Marlboro allocates 0.42 of its budget, we do 0.03. If we're gonna talk the talk, let's walk the walk, okay? And as a city council, we have some input. The mayor, we got smart, we got rid of the EDIC, we got the EDC, it's been kind of flagrant. We got the Pearl Street Garage, I've been up here 7 years, I've been hearing about it for 7 years. My daughter goes and gets dinner at Bronzetti's, I don't let her park in that garage. Anybody that knows anything wouldn't park in that garage, okay? It's not safe in my opinion. And that's, we got police officers telling us things aren't safe, so I can say that. You go there, it's dark, it's dreary, and you just, if you're going to pick up a pizza, park where you're not supposed to park before you park in that garage, I tell my daughter. And that's fine by me, I'll pay the ticket. It's just sitting there. It's an unused asset. We're building a beautiful new parking garage across the street. You know, I know there's one member in the audience not too happy about it, but let me tell you, we need parking. This new regional justice center, Karen Spilka's not going to be the Senate president forever. Okay, she put us back on the map. Mass Bay, 54, 58 million, they stayed in Framingham. We got bodies in downtown Framingham spending money. We've got the Buckley, probably the best looking apartments in Framingham. Some of these others, they look like city blocks, they're awful, there's nothing to them. You need bodies in downtown Framingham. The Regional Justice Center is gonna do that. It's there, we're almost there. You know, I was a kid, all the law firms were in downtown Framingham. They weren't on Route 9, okay? They were above all the buildings, the Fitz building, above Shea Lynn's. You know, my one grandparents had the tobacco vending, liquor store. The other people ran the labor's union, had the restaurant. It was the Waverly Street merger. My father won't drive down Waverly Street, okay? He goes down Waverly Street, goes to Auto Bright, buys his gas, gets a car wash, and comes back up. He doesn't cut through downtown. The only store he visited, 91 the other day, okay? Still driving and doing his thing and cooking twice a week for us. He used to go to Panzer Shoe. They're not there anymore. You need something to get people down. I took them to Fresh Cafe. Fresh, it's a great spot. No parking. So we go to Two Morals in Ashland. Shame on me. I have my office hours. People get mad. Two Morals. It's 3 miles outside my district on the Ashland line. I'm a bad guy for having my thing in Ashland. They give you, not Two Morals, how am I doing? The bagel table. The owners let me have the room in the back. I pay for everybody's coffee. I buy them breakfast, and we have a nice private room. There's not one of those in Framingham. Unless you could ask Roy McDowell or the guys from the Buckley, but that's the last thing we need to do is sitting on the council asking him. So I go to Ashland, and it just, it's just, we need economic development. People get mad when I say we need to run it like a business. We're more than a business. But that's why people need to be in the building, which now, thanks to this administration, they work in the building. Remote doesn't work in this type of building or business. Remote only works when you don't need the personal touch with people. People come here, they want to see somebody. They want to talk to somebody. They have a problem. You know, I had somebody call me about the building department. They took Mr. Tassino and the administration, we got a computer upstairs now, finally. Council Stefanini brought up. We used to send somebody over to the library to fill out a building permit if they didn't have a computer at home. So don't make it easy. You know, go over to the library. You know, maybe you bump into a few people doing some things they shouldn't be doing around the corner, and see if you can figure it out on your own. If you need help, God forbid, you don't know how to do it, who do you call? So this is Marlboro. This is our neighbor. This is who we're competing against, and they're cleaning our clock.
Mr. Alexander.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As I'm sitting here just taking in all the comments and listening to our people calling in and pontificating and whatnot, and I just kind of wanted to put a little bit of my 2 cents. I wasn't going to, but I think that it bears doing. Just today, as I was coming back from work, I work in Belmont, so I was coming down Route 9 where it's just, it's always, you know, backed up and everything, where the old Chinese restaurant was and everything. And I just noticed, it's like, it's a tale of 2 cities. We have a thriving downtown, with great looking like center of Framingham Center, things going on in Shoppers World or anything, there's this activity, but it's just so, it feels like it's just disjointed. We have that whole stretch, Route 9 westbound, where every day thousands or hundreds of cars are just sitting there backed up in the afternoon, and it's just derelict houses or buildings that were, I guess there were houses or family dwellings at one point turned into businesses, closed, shuttered, closed, windows popped out, or no paint job or whatever. It's like 3 or 4, well, at least 4 buildings in that little stretch before you get to the law office there, where it emerges from Route 30. So this is what people see every day, and you just go, like you're just saying, Councilor Ottaviani, you just go 20 minutes north of here, and it's a completely different picture. So, and then you have Natick to the east and Wellesley, whatever, but this is supposed to be the beacon of the Metro West. That's what it used to be. That's what people felt like it was. So that our EDIC, I see in this whole realm of talking about our terrible budget and our circumstance, that's the linchpin. That's the linchpin in all of this. We've got to ramp them up. I mean, they're doing a good job, but they've got to be more robust. We got to get people in here and clean up this place and put some new paint on buildings and redesign, redevelop that, parts of that Route 9. That's what people see. They don't generally come down this way. But that Route 9 corridor, Pike, Route 30, that's our bread and butter for the most part, or a lot of it. So it has to be a multifaceted approach. And that's the only way we're going to get out of this hole, or at least hold water, or hold our heads above water. So that's all I need to say.
So I'm going to take a vote. The vote is to return the budget back to the mayor, reject the budget technically, in order to keep our timeline, and send it back to the mayor. And there's a finance subcommittee meeting on Thursday evening, I believe, that we will begin to work on that. So I think there was some, I'm taking a vote right now. So I'm going to find my...
I think you counseled with Councilor Malik the last time, Councilor King, because I think I was
It was, yes. Thank you, Mr. Avian. I appreciate it. Councilor Stephanie?
Yes.
Councilor Bryant?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Ms. Leon Bruno?
Yes.
Ms. Long?
Yes.
Ms. Feeney?
Yes.
Mr. Cannon?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Mr. Aviani?
Yes.
Ms. Malik?
No.
Okay, so it's 9-1. Next, we have a report from SIFOC.
Are we still on the mayor's report or no?
No. We've been on the mayor's report for a while.
Well, we just took that vote. Oh, that was on the
That was on the
budget.
agenda item, yes.
Yeah, okay, never mind.
Thank you. Mr. Silk, would you like to?
Sit up here. That's Councilor Malik came up with that idea. It's the best thing we did, put a bench, another table in this room. Councilor Malik, nice job.
We have a presentation too.
Your other members can join you too if you want.
Yes.
I see Nicole back there.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Sean Silk, and I am the current chair of SIFOC, and I'm joined by Dan. He's the vice chair. We also have some other members here, Nicole and Eileen. And I just came here tonight. We have a short presentation that we're going to give about what we've been doing for the past year and some of the recommended actions and findings. And then we're just hopefully have a brief discussion with you following the presentation. All right, so next slide, please. So what is SIFOC? SIFOC was established under Framingham's charter, and it's an independent oversight body, and really it's charged with the oversight of city strategy, alignment of budgets, and also transparent reporting as our goals. Some other important things we want to draw attention to is SIFOC does not set policy. We don't manage departments, and we don't replace the authority of elected bodies. So, our role is specific to oversight and help with reporting, but it definitely is not replacing existing branches of government. Next slide, please. All right, some of the work that we completed, we underwent a reorganization and really spent the past almost year doing a sweeping review of what exists right now. And with the cooperation of the mayor, who was very helpful during this process, we did an inventory of the major city strategic initiatives. We looked at existing planning documents that are already out there. We went through an examination of financial reporting that exists, and also looked for a shared vision. We did some work with some of the leadership to see what their ideas were for a vision of the city and how consistent it was across everybody. And we also did a lot of work looking at other peer city for their strategic plans, what worked, what didn't. And we contacted a few of them. We also spoke with a vendor who worked with some of them, which is named Invisio. And we can discuss that more later if you have questions. Next slide, please. So what are our key findings? Basically, we had 5 important things that we wanted to draw out. One is that there is inconsistent strategic planning across the city right now. There's a lot of scattered documents with no real unified city strategy. The 2020 long-range plan was never really formally adopted. It was created, but it lacks vision, metrics, and reporting, which we feel are key to moving forward with any plan. Really, city leadership lacks somewhat of an understanding of what strategy is, and there's not an urgency to address the gap. SIFOC itself is not fulfilling its oversight duties as the citizens expect it to. And also, financial data reporting is sparse, untimely, and not readily accessible to the public. Next slide, please. So what are our recommendations? One, we feel that we want to issue an RFP for a citywide strategic blueprint. This is a big job, and it's going to be very difficult for us as a group of volunteers to undertake it, so we would need some help to go out, reach out to all the citizens of Framingham and really, understand what their vision and their strategic priorities are, so that when you have tough decisions, you have some of that background information already at hand, built in. We'd also like to improve timely public reporting of financial information. And again, thank the mayor. He's made the CFO available to us as a partner, and we're looking forward to the progress we're going to make on these first 2 recommendations with him. And the third one is really important for you, and what we're really asking you tonight is to adopt and use the strategic blueprint to govern. So it's not something we want to create and then have sit on a shelf, but we want this to be an active process where when we come up with a pattern or we come up with a document, that the strategic priorities in those become part of the budget, become part of your your priorities when you're making votes. So it's not just, one and done and then move on to the next thing. And that's it.
Thank you very much. Any questions?
Take questions.
Ms. Feeney.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Hello, SIFOC friends.
How you doing?
Thank you so much for coming and reporting and your findings. And I used to be on your side of the table. Now I'm on this side, and I'm hopeful that I could be more helpful to SIFOC here. As a former chair of SIFOC and a member of SIFOC since the beginning, I read your report, and I'm not surprised by any of it. SIFOC has a tremendous role that it can play helping us. And I saved all my budget comments to talk about strategic planning. SIFOC has gone through 6 chairs in 7 years. Just going to let that stand there because of these things that SIFOC keeps coming up against. Strategic planning, and we were talking about this a bit with the budget, is critical. I don't know how we can have a budget without some sort of plan. My colleague from District 6 said that this budget is setting us up to fail. I'm going to go a step further by saying that not having a strategic plan is setting us up to fail. And my colleague from District 5 said that things are disjointed. It's because we don't have a plan. So I appreciate the work that you're doing and that you've come up here. Our growth has been stagnant, as people have said, and I said this a couple of weeks ago when the mayor brought that very informative matrix to us. A strategic plan with working with the EDC and incorporating what their development document is supposed to be will help us with a plan to grow our economic development. Working with the different departments would help us figure out what we need to do and the benchmarks that we need to make us more competitive. We don't have that. So I also just ask all of us to think about this, and this is about the budget. It's about everything that we do, and that's why strategic planning is important, is to think about what sort of community do we want to live in. Budgets and strategic plans are supposed to reflect our values. Well, I don't really know what they are at the moment because we do not have a plan. So my question, and I could go on about strategic planning, I think about it a lot, and I thought about it a lot on SciFog. My question to you is, what can we do as a council to support you? What can we do as a council to get this RFP going? I think just like the budget, we don't have time to waste with this. It is why when I was chair of SciFog, we spent so much time coming up with the concept of the blueprint and putting that into the charter, because the charter needed more benchmarks and milestones when it came to planning. We have not started this, so how can we help and get that going?
Sure, thank you. Really, your time is going to be very valuable to us and your opinions for our next steps. As we look at reaching out to the broader community, we're going to ask you guys to help us do that as well, to get their feedback about where they prioritize what we should be spending our time and effort on. And then I think part of it is also going to be just as we start developing these points, I would really like to hear your personal, not only priorities, but the order of those priorities are important to us too, so that we know, across the board, if you guys share similar ones or are in disagreement over certain ones, it'll help us work through our process to try and figure out a better strategic plan for Framingham. And that's it.
Can I just follow up? I think what's really important to all of this is the input of the community. The strategic plan, the blueprint, has got to have community buy-in and input. We definitely did public hearings at the beginning when we were new and shiny and people didn't know what SciFog meant. Actually, they still don't know what it means. Sounds like something in Star Trek. But we need to keep doing that because people have a lot of ideas and opinions, and that needs to be the foundation and the basis for this plan. So anything I could do, just shout.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? Thank you for coming in tonight. I appreciate you bringing it.
Thank you very much. I
Thanks a
appreciate
lot.
it. Thank you.
Okay, next, upon request of Finance Subcommittee, recommendation and vote upon the requested appropriation from free cash for the FY26 budget shortfall and energy budget. Second reading, Mr. Ottaviani.
Yes, that Finance Subcommittee meeting, we voted unanimously to support that. And that's the motion, Mr.
Second.
Approve as presented. I apologize.
Any questions? Seeing no questions, we'll take a vote. And it is Ms. Bryant? This is a vote. I'll take that as a yes. Myself, yes. Ms. Leon Bruno?
Yes.
Ms. Long?
Yes.
Ms. Feeney?
Yes.
Mr. Cannon?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Mr. Aviani?
Yes.
Ms. Malik?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. So set. Next, Next, Finance Subcommittee, a recommendation regarding the Community Preservation Committee's recommended projects, second reading.
Yeah, again, we voted unanimously. We had, the only thing I mentioned at the last meeting, we did make a couple changes, but the stuff that was covered in the CPC, we scratched. We were waiting to see what the CPC was going to cover for the city and what the city was going to cover, but we voted unanimously once they made a couple changes, and that's the motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Any further discussion on Community Preservation Committee's recommendations? Seeing none, all those in favor, myself, yes. Ms. Liam Bruno?
Yes.
Ms. Long?
Yes.
Ms. Feeney?
Absolutely, yes.
Mr. Cannon?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Mr. Aviani?
Yes.
Ms. Malik?
Yes.
Mr. Stephanie? Ms. Bryant?
Yes.
Excellent. Upon the request of the Director of Public Works, referral to the Finance Subcommittee for consideration of transferring the amount of $10,000 for sanitation and roll-off vehicle. So this is a referral. Does anybody have any problems with the referral? So referred. Upon request of the Acting Chief Financial Officer, a referral to the Finance Subcommittee, budget transfer of $6,500 regarding the Treasurer's Office. Hearing no objection, it's referred. And next last is the request of the Community Preservation Committee, referral to the Finance Subcommittee, reservation of the 2027 Community Development Funds. Okay, so that's referred. And report of the council chair, I do not believe I have anything tonight. Does anybody have a subcommittee chairman report? Seeing none, any reports of councilors? Mr. Cannon.
Two things very briefly, Mr. Chairman. Tomorrow is National Nurses Day. We all have very special people that we hold in high regard and have warm places in our heart, myself included. So please reach out to the special nurses in your life tomorrow. And also, just a point of personal privilege, it occurs to me that 10 years ago, I gave up the sauce. I stopped drinking 10 years ago. It was a number of medical scares that led to that, and a beautifully cultivated Irish heritage that fulfills all of the stereotypes, at least in my family. But it's been 10 years, and I, from time to time, come across folks that are early in their decisions to give up whatever vices are impacting them, and I just sit here as someone to say it gets better every day. Time flies, and there but for the grace of God go I, for those who are struggling. But I don't know, I felt compelled to share that. So.
Congratulations. It's very hard work. Congratulations to you. And
Especially with you people around.
To you.
I mean, it's a privilege to serve, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much.
Ms. Malik.
Thanks. I have two updates. The first is that the Youth Council met and voted in their leadership. So they're underway. They also decided what subcommittees they'd like to have and liaisons to the council, school committee, the community rec center committee. They're also very interested in finance, and I think we might see some of them at an upcoming finance subcommittee meeting. And then the second thing, I just want to acknowledge that the Metro West Jewish Day School, maybe folks are aware of this, has announced that it's closing, that this will be its last year here in Framingham. And so they had a celebration, alumni reunion, which was actually rather joyful, I have to say, for acknowledging of a closing of a school. So,
Councilor King, point of information. Can you just tell us who the leadership is, who they voted in? For the city council.
For youth committee, I was
Please.
like, no, they're closing. There's no leadership. Sorry. Yes, it is. The chair is Lillian Martin, who is an at-large appointment. The vice chair is Patrick Coyne, and the clerk is Addie Bannon.
Good. Thank you.
Fantastic. A lot of District 4 representation there.
Yeah,
Ms. Bryant?
It should be. That's the plan.
Yes. Yes, I do want to thank Councilor Cannon for his report or speaking. It's important, and I applaud you and salute you all at once, and
Thank you,
as
Councilor.
does so many people in the community. I want to say happy Cinco de Mayo to everyone. Yes, there is celebrations going on. And also, what was the other thing? Oh, just to thank DPW, no, Parks and Rec, really, but, the city in general. it was, I wish I had a camera when a mother was strolling her daughter, one baby down the sidewalk of Beaver Park, past the Mary Dennison, build, and the older little girl, the one who was like about 4 or 5, she was peeking through the fence. It looked like a Norman Rockwell moment, right? And we all go past, but I see the young children getting excited about it. Now it's really starting to take form. It's got a lot of years, but it is big, it is exciting. It was a long time coming, but yes, that's rejuvenating the community. We love that. And the community is also thankful, District 9, that the blockage on Beaver Street has been minimal, or it's getting less and less now. And it's worth it for, the park, what needs to be done and all of that. And also at the Bishop and, 135 Bishop crossing, where the rail, they added an extra rail on, that went pretty smoothly. So we salute the city and how that was done. Obviously it wasn't comfortable, but I think it was the best it could be. That's what we believe. So in that, and also I just want to say, and this is on behalf of my, as a counselor in general, that, well, I'll save it for when the EDC comes before us. I'm going to save that. But thank you for the work on the budget also. And, I wanted to say to the mayor, I was, as was many others, very pleased with the way you presented the budget at our last meeting. It was clear, it was easy to understand, it wasn't overly complicated or obfuscated with just generalizations either. But I've gotten good feedback from people. I felt that people would receive it that way, and it did encourage them to look further at it instead of just suppose, and guess and think, well, they know they did, nobody really likes the 4.5, but they liked the way you presented the budget.
Okay, seeing nothing else.
Move to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, all those in favor, Mr. Aviani?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Big Longhorn, yes.
Big Longhorn, yes.
Liam Bruno?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Stephanie?
Yes.
Ms. Sweeney?
Yes.
Ms. Malik?
Yes.
Ms. Long?
Yes.
Ms. Bryant?
Yes.
We are adjourned.